Impact Wrestling fans, I'm back once again talking Impact Wrestling Redefined. I'm here to break it all down. It was a pretty good show. However, all the matches about to get right on into that. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified of every video that I make. No podcast today, but Impact Wrestling review right now. First up, we had the champion Brian Cage versus Sphinx for the X Division Championship. It was a phenomenal match. Makes me think that maybe it should have been the main event, possibly. We had a sick low pay reversal into a suplex on the outside. I've never seen that done before. I've seen people get caught from the top rope and get suplexed into that type of reversal, but never a low pay into a reversal into a suplex on the floor. Just sick by Brian Cage there. It was a phenomenal match. And that super powerbomb to end it was just ridiculous. Brian Cage picks up the victory as we thought he would. He is a fantastic X Division champion. I don't know when his reign ends, but it should be no time soon. Phoenix was phenomenal in this match as well. They need to face off again at some time in some way or fashion. Maybe we got Bound for Glory coming up. Maybe we can get a rematch there. I would love to see it. So moving on after that, OVE came down to ringside, attacked the Lucha Brothers. Brian Cage made the save, beat some people up, and that was the end of that segment. I would have rather OVE done the heel thing and backed off instead of getting beat down right there, but it is what it is. We moved on to the GWT Flashback, and we had a lot of video packages, if I may say so myself. It kind of made it feel like, and this is no big gripe here, but it kind of made it feel like another episode of Impact as opposed to a special, but it was still well enough. We had the LAX celebration. They were talking back with Konnan, and LAX was ticked off. Santana Ortiz was ticked off. They wanted revenge. Konnan got a call, told them to hold on, not do anything. They were mad about that. We'll see how it all plays out. Like I said, I think we're heading to Bound for Glory. With the LAX and OGs, LAX picks up the victory in the end, one blow-off match. So, we moved on. We had Eli Drake come on down, excuse me. And he brought out the jobbers from last week, Mr. Atlantis and Brandon Tidwell. He beat them in like 30-second squash match. Excuse me, he beat Tidwell in 30 seconds for the squash match. The other guy got a gravy train as well. So I don't know where they're going there. Like I said, Eli Drake, his character is much more than where they have him right now. And that's not to say that he's still not entertaining. He's entertaining in this role that they're doing right now. But I really want to see where they go with it before I be too critical of it. I'll sit back and see where it goes. And moving on, we had the Knockouts title match. Soojung versus Ali. There's reasons I'm laughing. I'm going to get to it later. Versus Tessa Blanchard. This was a short match that felt longer. It didn't feel like a 5-minute match or a 6-minute match. It felt longer than it was. We had a lot of decent spots here. That submission spot that they had going on, that triple submission, was just ridiculous. Well done right there. At times it felt a bit slow, but it was a decent match for the time it was given. And we have a new Knockouts champion. I was laughing because normally I get on here every week and I say future Knockouts champion. I always forget to say it and I'll say, excuse me, future Knockouts champion Tessa Blanchard. Well, I will no longer be able to say that anymore because we have a new champion of the world, Tessa Blanchard. I gotta admit, I figured Soojung was winning here because all along for months now I've said that Rosemary would be the one to unseat Soojung. They have her come back, get revenge on her, but they can still have her come back and get her revenge without the title. Looking at Tessa Blanchard going forward, this is the future, this is the now. And right when she was walking up the rampway, I was saying, you know what, she is one of the best women's wrestlers. You know what, she's probably the best. And that's when Diane said it as well. He said she's the best women's wrestler on the planet. And you know what? He has a point because she is so crisp in everything she does in her in-ring, on the promos, her beatdowns, everything else. She's so crisp. I'm glad to have her in Impact where they will use her correctly because she's one of the best in the world today. Knockouts champion, current Knockouts champion, Tessa Blanchard. So moving on here, we went to the Desert Hit Squad, and Gamma Singh was just laying them out with the broom, and we'll see what goes on from there as they met up and got beat down by Gamma Singh. Next up, we had the Smoke Show, Scarlet Bordeaux. I gotta admit, this one was kind of funny this week. I didn't find the other one, the previous week, pretty entertaining with Grado, but this one was kind of funny this week. Scarlet Bordeaux kind of got in Grado's ear, ticked off Katarina, and she's entertaining. You know what? I'm starting to come around to it. You know, at first I had my questions. I was worried if it'd go too far, but you know, I'm coming around to it. It's a pretty decent show, and we'll see how it all plays out going forward. So moving forward, we had Rich Swann versus Petey Williams. This match was everything you'd expect it to be. Fast, back and forth. I had a decent amount of time in the match, and both guys looked really great here. Rich Swann picked up the victory, a much needed victory after him coming back. He needed a win, and he got it over Petey Williams. Petey Williams didn't really need the win, although the crowd kind of really wanted him to get that win. You can tell how they were exasperated when he didn't pick up the win. But Rich Swann gets the win here, and he's moving onward and upwards, as after match said the win would catapult him to the X Division title. He was interrupted by Matt Sidell, and it's looking like we're gonna get a feud there. Matt Sidell versus Rich Swann, and I'm all for it. Let it go down. Let the whatever star match go down. 3, 4, 5, whatever you want to call it, star match go down. So moving on, we had Moose getting laid out backstage. We had the Killer Cross logo by him, so we knew who did it, or who quote unquote did it, as we would have Austin Aries and Killer Cross versus Eddie Edwards in a handicap match. This was going well enough. All guys played it really well. I really liked the match, and inevitably I was watching the match, I was like, okay, when's Moose gonna come out and make the face save? And I was expecting Moose to come out, and Moose came right on out. I asked the face, coming down, and surprise, surprise, we got a Moose heel turn. And I gotta say, this one felt like, it was very surprising, it was very shocking. Everything afterwards, they laid Eddie Edwards out. It was very well done. Everything was well done, but the turn itself, I gotta wonder about it, because Moose is really, really over with the fans. He has that theme, he has the Moose, Moose, Moose chant, and I just don't want a heel turn to hurt his momentum, because I really feel like he was going really well. However, this could work really well. You got Austin Aries, you got Killer Cross, you got Moose. Now they're officially a faction, so they need a name. I don't know what their name will be, but you can't just have 3 guys walking around and don't have a name for them. So they have to have a name. They're a faction now, and I'll give it a chance to play out. Moose is very believable, big guy, very, very bruising guy. He can talk on the mic, so he can be believable as a heel. They just have to pull it off perfectly, because his music lends to a face. His chants leads to a face. We can't do the Moose chants anymore. It has to be a cold heel, and I'll give him a chance to pull that one off, because I really think that he can do it. We'll see how it all turns out going forward. Austin Aries, Killer Cross, Moose, the stable. I'll come up with a name for him and start calling them that the next week. As what it all leads to, I think this is all leading to Eddie Edwards getting the title at Bound for Glory. We'll see about that going forward. So that is the end for this Impact Wrestling review. I enjoyed it. It felt that, like I said, it was a special that kind of felt like an episode of Impact, but it was an enjoyable episode. When I say an episode of Impact, like a regular episode of Impact instead of a pay-per-view, but it was very enjoyable from my standpoint. I still enjoyed it a lot. And the current, reigning, defending Knockouts champion, Tessa Blanchard, the GOAT. Well, I'm not gonna call it the GOAT. Gail Kim is the GOAT in Impact Wrestling. Let's keep that straight. But Tessa Blanchard, champion, I love every bit of it. Let me know down below, what did you think about this episode? What do you think about Tessa Blanchard winning the title this early? Let me know all of your thoughts down below.